I've been lying to my rich clients about their food for 8 years. I'm a personal chef for this super wealthy family that lives in a huge house and goes on fancy vacations all the time. They're always talking about how much they miss real European and Asian food from when they lived abroad. When I first started working for them, I went all out. I would spend 12 hours making one dish. I'd go to like 5 different grocery stores to find the exact right ingredients. I'd examine every single carrot and potato by hand to make sure it was perfect. I used expensive wine for sauces and imported spices that cost a fortune. They hated it. Every single meal they'd complain. Too rich, too heavy, not quite right. I was losing my mind trying to figure out what they actually wanted. Then one night I messed up really bad. I was supposed to make this fancy dish that takes forever, but I completely forgot about it until an hour before dinner. I panicked and threw together a super quick version using whatever I had in the kitchen. Instead of spending hours making a wine sauce, I just used regular vinegar and some sugar. They said it was the best thing they'd ever eaten. The wife actually got emotional and said it reminded her of this restaurant in the mountains somewhere in Europe. I just stood there nodding while thinking about how I'd literally made it in 30 minutes with the cheapest ingredients possible. That's when I realized I'd been doing everything wrong. So I started taking shortcuts everywhere. Instead of expensive wine, I used grape juice or just vinegar. Sometimes I'd throw in vodka with some fruit juice and they'd go on about the complex flavors. Instead of hand-making pasta for hours, I'd use 99-cent boxes from the regular grocery store. They started raving about my cooking to everyone. They'd have these big dinner parties and I'd serve them the most basic food, but I'd plate it nice and they'd tell their rich friends it was authentic Italian or French cuisine. Their friends would ask me what special flour I used for the pasta. I'd make up some story about importing it while knowing it came from a box. One time I made risotto and the husband went on for like 20 minutes about how he could taste the saffron. I'd use turmeric because real saffron costs like $100. Another time I made this sauce that was literally just mayonnaise mixed with ketchup and a few spices, and they told everyone it was a traditional recipe passed down from some chef in France. The best part is that groceries come out of what they pay me. When I started, I was spending thousands of dollars on fancy ingredients. Now I shop at regular stores and buy the cheap stuff, and I'm saving so much money. Plus, I'm not working 12-hour days anymore. I can make their dinner in like 45 minutes instead of all day. They even started asking me to cater their events. I'd show up with food from the regular grocery store, arrange it on fancy plates, and their guests would act like they were eating at a 5-star restaurant. People would ask for my recipes, and I'd make up elaborate stories about techniques and ingredients while thinking about how it was boxed pasta and store-brand sauce. It's been almost 8 years now. 8 years of them thinking they're eating authentic gourmet food when really it's just normal, cheap ingredients that I jazz up a little. They've never suspected anything. In fact, they keep giving me raises because they think I'm so talented. The weird part is, I do feel guilty sometimes, like I'm running this massive scam. But then I remember how they absolutely hated my food when I was actually trying to make it authentic and expensive. They literally prefer the cheap fake version. So really, I'm giving them exactly what they want. They're happy, I'm making good money, and I'm not killing myself in the kitchen anymore. Last month, they had this huge party and someone asked me about my culinary training. The wife jumped in and started telling everyone about how I trained in Europe and how lucky they were to have me. I just smiled and nodded. None of that was true, but I wasn't about to correct her in front of 20 people eating my doctored up grocery store food.